Ward, of course, starts on Hardaway. Hardaway flips it up, hangs on, and Terry Cummings with a rebound.
Right away to the isolation to see if a double team was coming, but Tim Hardaway didn't even wait. Slipped on his way to the basket.
Jeff Van Gundy talking about offense. His guards have to penetrate and drive. And to start off the game, Ward misses a three. Caldwell the rebound.
And right away, the frown on the face of Jeff Van Gundy, not really wanting that shot. They don't mind a three-pointer if there's some penetration first or a pass inside.
Mashburn rushed it. Cummings quick outlet start. Allen Houston against Hardaway, flips it up too hard. P.J. Brown the rebound. Hardaway the penetration. Ward knocked it away, and Oakley diving on it. And we'll have a jump ball. Not a surprise to see in a game of this magnitude, perhaps a little jitters early on.
Well, both teams coming into the mindset they want to get out in transition, try to get some easy baskets, mainly because the key players out, Alonzo Mourning, who they normally throw the ball to in the post, that's Miami, and New York's low post threat, Larry Johnson. So a lot of the set offense has gone by the board. So if you're going to go with a guard-oriented team, you want to get out and go, attack the basket, and also see if you get to the foul line.
They're trying to figure out who should be jumping. One official saying it's Ward and Hardaway. Oakley said, no, I had my hands on the ball, and it should be Oakley and Hardaway. So a disagreement between the officials. Oakley's going to back out, and Ward will jump with Hardaway. And Charlie Ward, who's got excellent jumping ability, able to win the tip.
I don't think Charles Oakley wanted to get in there all that much anyway. He doesn't want to put his jumping ability or lack thereof on display.
Mashburn starts the game on Allen Houston. Houston misses his second shot. Fight for the rebound, Leonard. Leonard starting the game on Starks. Cummings coming up, knocks it away. Starks comes away with the ball. And John Starks with the first 2 points of the game. Took 90 seconds, but finally somebody's on the board.
Aggressive defense by the Knicks against the pick-and-roll situation. Blitzing, something they've gotten away from throughout this season, coming with it early here.
A lot of double teaming as P.J. Brown picks it out. Hardaway on the penetration. Brown, soft jumper.
A defensive mistake that time by Charlie Ward, overreacting, overcommitting on Tim Hardaway, opening up that drive through the lane where Hardaway can create for a guy like P.J. Brown, who they're normally not going to run any kind of play for.
Brown has been very quiet in the series offensively. He said he's going to look to score. Starks nails a three. And that's certainly a good sign for the Knicks when Starks hits his first. He has shot 50% from the field in the series.
I was talking earlier about you don't like to take John Starks out of his comfortable role coming off the bench, but these are desperate situations for the Knicks. They need scoring. They need big minutes from Starks. Hardaway
misses the three. Hopefully grabs the board. Both teams have come out as expected, so aggressively on the defensive end. Oakley, dangerous pass. Ward with the fake. A wide open Oakley knocks it down, and the Knicks off to a 7-2 lead.
And that's really the only way that Charles Oakley can get involved offensively as far as shooting the ball. He can get in on the offensive glass and get some follow-ups, but that's what Jeff Van Gundy wants from Charlie Ward and Chris Childs when he comes into the game. Penetration in the lane, breaks the defense down.
Poor pass from Brown. Knicks forcing turnovers. Already Miami with three. Starks another three. Brown the rebound. LaShawn Leonard off the dribble. And the Heat struggling from the field, just 1 of 5 to start.
Now the jumpers are coming fast and furious, but that's pretty much the way these two teams have to play. No real low post threats out on the floor with the exception of Tim Hardaway for Miami and maybe Allen Houston.
Charles Oakley nails his second straight. And he's got 4 points. Knicks have now found the range. They've hit 4 of their last 5 shots from the field, and Pat Riley wants to talk it over. Knicks off to a 9-2 lead, nearly 4 minutes gone by. First quarter of Game 5.
Grant, it's time to look beyond basketball. I'm thinking made-for-TV drama.
You want me to be just like Tommy, Dad, but I can only be Jake.
After that, you go on tour with your book. Then you cut an album.
I'm a cowboy.
So, what do we think?
I'd never do something like that. Care for a Sprite?
Θα σταματήσει στη Μόντσα η έκπληξη του φετινού πρωταθλήματος Νόρι Γιούκι Χάντα? Το σίγουρο είναι ότι θα το προσπαθήσουν οι διώκτες του στο παγκόσμιο πρωτάθλημα Superbike. Ομάδες, κινητήρες, αναβάτες σε εγρήγορση για τον τρίτο γύρο στη θρυλική Ιταλική πίστα. Παρακολουθήστε την Κυριακή τις μάχες τροχό με τροχό, αποκλειστικά και ζωντανά στο Super Sport.
Look at again, and the Knicks just self-destructed with so many early turnovers, so he made it a point of emphasis to his team in getting ready for this Game 5. We must take care of the ball, and so far so good for New York, no turnovers.
Hardaway, of course, had that great Game 7 last year with the 37 points. Mashburn on Houston, that's a matchup the Heat feel they can take advantage of, but Mashburn has struggled offensively. Hardaway forces it up in the lane. Beautiful move from Tim Hardaway.
Jim Gray listening in the Miami huddle during that break. Pat Riley getting right into Tim Hardaway saying, we need you to break the defense down, attack. It's the only way we can get shots for the other players.
Terry Cummings. Cummings knocks down his first shot. The 37-year-old veteran had the terrific Game 2 with the 14 rebounds. He'll be asked to score today.
Well, I neglected to mention Terry Cummings as a post-up player. He doesn't really get deep position. It's pretty much like that, 15, 16 feet, and then the turnaround jumpers. He's been very quiet offensively, however.
Allen Houston claiming he was pushed into Causewell, but Houston will pick up his first personal.
It's just such a nice luxury to have. Tim Hardaway, shot clock winding down, offense breaks down, and then Tim Hardaway able to create. Charlie Ward's main goal is try to keep Hardaway in front of him as much as possible. Easier said than done.
That's the first foul of the game. Mashburn along the baseline, stepped out of bounds. Charles Oakley's help defense forcing that turnover. The fourth for Miami, and the Knicks have yet to turn it over.
Mike, I'm a little surprised that the Heat have not gone inside to Jamal Mashburn against Allen Houston just to see how the Knicks are going to react. Mashburn has struggled offensively, has not shot a free throw in this series, pretty much just hanging on the perimeter, although that time he tried to take the ball to the basket.
Starks misfires. Causewell grabs the board. 7-point Knick lead, just over 5 minutes gone by. Oakley now on Mashburn, this time down. Eric Murdoch has come into the game. Mashburn makes his move, struck down low. Again, the Knicks forced another turnover. Ward showing patience. Cummings. And Leonard back on Houston. And a foul. Leonard trying to chase. Mashburn also the bump. And Mashburn picks up his first team foul against the Heat. And that's huge. The early going. Already 5 turnovers for the Heat. C.J. Brown, we're told, with a contact lens problem. That's why he came out. And Murdoch in the game. So the 3-guard offense out there now for Miami. Starts the hard drive. Left hand won't go. Cummings right there for the rebound, but he's called for a loose ball foul. First on Cummings, second on the Knicks.
Well, you see the value of Dwayne Causewell in this situation, bearing down, chasing John Starks. Even though he never got a hand up or particularly challenged that shot, Starks knew he was in the area and rushed and squeezed that layup out of there. And that's the one thing that Causewell can give to Pat Riley. He's now on the bench.
C.J. Brown back in. Murdoch has had a couple of terrific games. They try and isolate Mashburn with Oakley. Shot clock down to 9. And Oakley reaching in commits his first foul. Certainly without Mills and Johnson, the Knicks cannot afford in the front court to have foul problems.
This is a difficult cover for Charles Oakley against Mashburn. Now, when Mashburn is right and on his game, he can take you off the dribble, but he is very rusty offensively.
Mashburn steps up for that shot, puts it in. Jamal Mashburn really struggling from the field, only 26% in the series, brings the Heat within 5. Lob it to Houston. Houston underneath. Pretty pass from Charlie Ward. Knicks back up by 7.
Well, there's the quick hitter post-up play and the height advantage of Allen Houston over Vashawn Leonard.
First 2 points of the game for Houston. Both Hardaway and Houston starting slowly in terms of shooting. Mashburn, tough fall away shot, puts it in. Jamal Mashburn.
So the sight of Charles Oakley on Jamal Mashburn has picked up his confidence dramatically. 3 straight times the Heat have gone to Mashburn.
Ward with a pretty left hand, Charlie Ward. And a 7-point lead now for the Knicks. Already seen in terms of the Knicks offense, other players more aggressive looking for their shot. Mashburn, another tough fall away. Jamal Mashburn, 3 for 4 from the field, 6 quick points.
Well, it was a search early for Pat Riley, seeing what he could find offensively. He has stumbled on nicely to Mashburn against Oakley.
Mashburn had a real strong start in Game 3 as the Knicks turned it over for the first time. He hit his first 4 shots, but then was quiet after that.
Allen Houston using that high Oakley pick to rub Vashawn Leonard off, and then a nice feed inside before the Heat defense could collapse.
Very unlikely numbers in terms of shooting. Knicks 56%, the Heat now at 54%. P.J. Brown left wide open. Oakley grabs the board. Starks and Cummings. P.J. Brown, a decent shot blocker. Murdoch with the deflection, and Ward loses it out of bounds. Knicks again turn it over 2 straight times down the floor. Both these teams throughout the regular season, 2 of the better teams in the NBA defensively. Mashburn. Cummings aboard. In fact, both tied for second in the league in opponents' field goal percentage. Team shot just under 43% against them. The Spurs led in that department. Terry Cummings.
Now the Knicks have gotten away from their penetration, their desire to get into the lane, which is something they did early in this quarter to get good shot opportunities, starting to settle for jump shots.
Legal defense called against the Knicks, their first, so a warning. Buck Williams will enter. Jeff Van Gundy roundly booed by the fans when he came out on the court. Cummings will sit down. For Buck Williams, he played 7 minutes in Game 1, has not played since.
Well, you know what you're going to get from Buck Williams. A lot of physical play inside, bang the boards at both ends. Not going to give you that much offense unless he can get it off the offensive glass and stick it back quickly.
Mashburn once again trying to get around Oakley. Buck Williams right there to help, and Oakley grabs the board. Hardaway on Stark. Murdoch's on Ward right now. Oakley pass to Buck Williams, blows the layup. Murdoch with the strip, Stilnick fall underneath. And we'll have timeout. Just under 3 minutes remaining. First quarter from Miami Arena. A 5-point Knick lead.
Η μάχη για τον τίτλο στο πρωτάθλημα Πόλο εξελίσσεται με συναρπαστικούς ρυθμούς. Δείτε την Τετάρτη σε απευθείας μετάδοση ένα από τα καθοριστικότερα παιχνίδια της κανονικής περίοδου. Ολυμπιακός Βουλιαγμένη. Στη μάχη για την πρώτη θέση της κανονικής περίοδου. Ολυμπιακός Βουλιαγμένη. Στο τέρμπι που κρίνει τίτλους τα τελευταία χρόνια στην ελληνική υδατοσφαίριση. Αποκλειστικά και ζωντανά στο Supersport.
Just under 3 minutes remaining in the first. A 5-point Knick lead at Miami Arena. Knicks inbound with a new 24. Allen Houston. Houston knocks down his second field goal.
Allen Houston doing a nice job off the ball on the baseline, able to shake free of Deshaun Leonard. A little surprised New York has not given the ball to Allen Houston up at the top of the floor where he was so effective in the middle part of this series.
Leonard makes his move to feed the P.J. Brown, stripped down low again. Knicks with active hands early. 6 first-quarter turnovers already for the Heat. Houston the drive, and an offensive foul. That's his second. So the first player with 2 fouls is Allen Houston, and he'll have to sit down for a little bit.
And the Knicks coaching staff all up in unison, pointing to the fact that the defensive player is standing within that dotted line, and I think he is, except for the fact that Allen Houston just totally out of control. No, actually he was outside. Good call by the officials.
The help defender has to be outside that restricted area, and Hardaway able to come over and draw the charge. So Chris Childs will come in for Houston. He'll sit down with the 2 fouls.
That was a case where Allen Houston just made up his mind what he was going to do, and I thought Deshaun Leonard did a good job in that transition defense of avoiding fouling Houston on that hard move to the basket.
Leonard with Starks on him, looking to post up. And the Knicks whistle for their second illegal defense. Jeff Van Gundy protests, but to no avail, and that's a technical foul.
Well, this is a totally different look for Miami. For the last couple of years, I don't think I've ever seen a set half-court play for Deshaun Leonard to post up. Known for his three-point shooting, spot-up shooting. Pat Riley's been after him for the last couple of years to put the ball on the floor and take it to the basket. But you can see that the desperation on the part of really both teams trying to find offense and trying to find people. This is a tough situation for both coaches in a Game 5 situation.
That free throw by Leonard, the first free throw attempt here in the first quarter. There you see the shooting numbers. Knicks at the 50% mark. Childs now on Hardaway. Beautiful feed to P.J. Brown, and a foul. Hardaway threading the needle, and P.J. Brown with a chance for a three-point play.
Now Tim Hardaway doing an outstanding job of reading the defense, getting blitzed or trapped out high, making the New York Knicks defense committee. He had Jamal Mashburn wide open at the top of the key, and P.J. Brown moving without the ball to that little crease, that opening area. P.J. Brown, the first one to admit that he has not played up to his capabilities throughout this series. Very disappointed.
That foul on Buck Williams. Hardaway looking to pass quite a bit. Of course, Pat Riley saying that we're expecting Tim Hardaway to get 45 points. We will lose the game. And a hand check call there on Leonard. Leonard picking up his first foul, and the second, check that. Now one from the penalty because it's the first in the last 2 minutes for the Heat.
And Mike, so far Tim Hardaway following that game plan, but you know somewhere along the line Tim Hardaway will look to take over. He usually waits third quarter, fourth quarter. You'll remember in Game 7 last year, what a third quarter he had. 18 of the 22 points for Miami, 7 3-pointers.
He has had some just brilliant games against the Knicks. Starks leaning in, threw the foul, was going to pass, but when he felt the contact, threw it toward the basket, and he'll get 2 shots.
You're right about feeling the contact. It wasn't as if he heard the whistle. John's just going to launch it up there.
So Starks will shoot the Knicks' first 2 free throws. Second foul on Leonard. Starks really struggling down the tail end of the regular season last 2 months. Had a decent Game 1. Had the fabulous Game 2. As you see with the 25 points, struggling in Game 3 and then came back big in Game 4. It was the day of Game 3 when he learned that his mother had to undergo cancer surgery. The next day he flew to Tulsa, Oklahoma to be with her. Came back the day of the game in Game 4. Said he felt better after seeing her smile. She told him to go back and play well, and he had a terrific Game 4 to tie the series of 2 games apiece. 5-point Knick lead, just under a minute and a half remaining in the first. Mashburn giving plenty of room. Now pulls up on Oakley. Charlie Ward helping out on the boards. Guards from both teams said that will be key today. They've got to help out on the rebounding area with some vital front court players out. Oakley. Charles Oakley finding the range. He's hit all 3 of his shots, all from the perimeter, as Allen Houston watches with the 2 fouls.
Well, this is really the only way Charles Oakley can contribute offensively. Hang out on the perimeter, wait for guards to penetrate, and have his defensive man help off him. He is a good 16, 18-foot jump shooter.
Leonard again looking to post up Starks. Leonard leans in. Up move from Rashawn Leonard. Knicks by 5 again. You can see early the difference without Alonzo Mourning defensively. In some ways, the Heat missing more on the defensive end.
Oh, no question about it. Even though Alonzo Mourning played in the first 4 games, still the Knicks had their way on the offensive boards, outscoring Miami 47-28. Should have more advantage today. But Williams keeps working inside.
Couple of offensive rebounds, unable to put it down. Shot clock turned off here in the first quarter. Hardaway. Childs on him. Hardaway falls back. Buck Williams to Childs. Hardaway gets it back. Will he get it off in time? Just off the mark. It would have counted. And that will end the first quarter. And for the first time this series, the Knicks have the lead after the first quarter. A 5-point advantage.
Το Super Sport φέρνει τα κέρδη πιο κοντά. Κάθε Παρασκευή όλα όσα θέλετε να μάθετε για τους έκτακτους διαγωνισμούς προπό, Σαββάτου και Τετάρτης. Ακόμη, ενημερωθείτε για τα στατιστικά στοιχεία του Τζόκερ, του Λότο και του Πρώτο. Σούπερ πρόβλεψη. Κάθε Παρασκευή στο Super Sport. Η εκπομπή είναι χορηγία του Προπό και του Προπογκόλ. Το πρώτο επαγγελματικό πρωτάθλημα της Φόρμουλα 3 ξεκινά στην Ελλάδα. Το Σάββατο 9 Μαΐου με τα δοκιμαστικά στην πίστα των Μεγάρων και την Κυριακή 10 Μαΐου με τον αγώνα. Και το Super Sport θα είναι εκεί. Θέαμα και έντονο συναγωνισμός από το εφαλτήριο των οδηγών για το θαυμαστό κόσμο της Φόρμουλα 1.
Ψάχνετε το ιδανικό παιχνίδι? Νέο πρώτο. Κοιτάξτε. Κερδίζετε πιάνοντας έναν επταψήφιο αριθμό. Και τώρα κερδίζετε ακόμα πιο εύκολα. Πιάνοντας τους λίγοντες 6, 5, 4, 3, ακόμη και 2. Αλλά και τους αρχικούς 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Έτσι, με το νέο πρώτο έχετε 11 τρόπους να κερδίσετε μέχρι 100 εκατομμύρια.
Και ακόμα διπλάσιοι τυχεροί. Νέο πρώτο. Τώρα και σε ανεξάρτητο δελτίο. Εύκολα παίζεις, εύκολα κερδίζεις. Ο ΠΑΟ. Η ζωή είναι διαφορετική μετά από αυτό.
First lead of the series after the first quarter. They've had some very slow starts. Miami's always led after one.
And a slow start for Allen Houston, but finding that other scorer, Charles Oakley, hanging out on the perimeter, making all 3 of his shots from about 16 feet. Mike, I noticed both teams, I feel they're like tentative. They're just feeling their own team out because they're really not sure where to go. So used to having Mourning as the guy they dump the ball into. New York so used to having Larry Johnson as their low post threat. Both are absent.
An offensive foul call against the Knicks. Anthony Bowie coming in and shutting the screen and gets called for it. Bowie's played a little in every game, but not many total minutes. Getting a shove right there. Eric Murdoch getting knocked away. Murdoch on a penetration. Childs tries to come and help out. A hard foul. Murdoch goes sprawling. Chris Childs picking up his first. Look that they call it on Ward.
Well, Eric Murdoch has had a couple of good games in this series doing just that, penetration. I think Jeff Van Gundy would like to see the Knicks guards make him make a couple of jumpers from the outside, keep him out of the lane.
Hardaway and Childs. Both teams with both their point guards on the floor right now. Hardaway triple team. Mashburn an open three. Buck Williams the rebound taken away, but a foul call on P.J. Brown. And Childs then with a little shove on Brown after Brown got the rebound and the whistle was blown.
There's two former teammates with the New Jersey Nets, Chris Childs and P.J. Brown.
They had some very strong words last year after the incident in Game 5. Went back and forth with each other. Their relationship changed. Knick lead opening minute, second quarter. The winner today will face the Indiana Pacers at Market Square Arena in Game 1 on Tuesday. The loser has to deal with having their season ended by their hated rival. 5 on the shot clock. Charles Oakley. Oakley again. Charles Oakley 4 for 4 from the field. And he's got 8 points to lead all scorers.
Well, we talked about this coming in. Two guys that would have to be big for their teams, Charles Oakley and Jamal Mashburn. Mashburn had a good little stretch there midway through the first quarter working against Oakley, who had to give him a lot of room on his shot.
Oakley's only averaging 8 points a game in the series. Has already reached that here in the second quarter. 2 on the shot clock. Murdoch gets it off just in time. The battle for the boards. P.J. Brown, terrific second effort. But a loose ball foul called. It will go against the Knicks. Brown, a terrific rebounder. It's the second foul call on Charlie Ward. Marty Conlon is checked in. Mashburn sits down. So Ward, with his second foul, he'll go to the bench. Allen Houston, who picked up 2 fouls in the first quarter, returns. Houston's quiet start from the field. Just 2 of 4. Hardaway. Leonard, the 3. Oakley with another rebound. He's got 4. Childs tries it again. Dangerous pass and throws it away.
Terrible decision on the part of Chris Childs. He's got the hot hand. Charles Oakley wide open at the top of the key.
Hardaway's first 3. And Buck Williams the rebound. The Heat now 0 of 5 from 3-point range. When they hit their threes, they're almost impossible to beat. 7-point Knick lead. Houston over Leonard. Excellent defense from Deshaun Leonard. And then a whistle and a foul. Let's see what Jim Clark calls it again. It will go against Leonard. 2.5 gone by second quarter. 7-point Knick lead.
They played the first 8 minutes, 1 for 2 from the field. Terry pulled down 4 rebounds. Now Terry Cummings, more of an offensive threat than Buck Williams. But don't forget, Terry is playing with a very sore toe, which hampers him quite a bit from time to time. With Buck Williams, you know you're going to get a defensive presence in there as far as being physical and as far as getting on the board.
Allen used to go to the free throw line. I said terrific defense on Leonard. It appeared that he played good defense. It was a late whistle, but Jim Clark made the call. Leonard, his 3rd foul, as Allen Houston hitting the first free throw. Knicks have shot well from the line throughout the series as Leonard will sit down. And the Knicks now with their largest lead here in the first half, a 9-point advantage. Heat struggling from the field right now. P.J. Brown with Buck Williams. A lot of contact. Brown fall away, won't go. Oakley grabs another rebound. That's one of the reasons Buck Williams in there. Very strong post defense.
Pat Riley calling a very post play for P.J. Brown. We saw Deshaun Leonard posting early. They're two players that normally don't get calls, certainly in that particular element.
Oakley misfires his first miss. Murdoch with the drive and runner. Offensive foul. Charles Oakley stands his ground and draws the charge, and Eric Murdoch picks up the personal.
Well, no shot blocking threats in there for New York. Neither Buck Williams or Charles Oakley getting up in the air and swatting them away, but they will do that. Cover up in the lane, give up their bodies, and take the charge. And Eric Murdoch, that's really his strong suit. Putting it on the floor, getting into the lane, and shooting that little runner.
Just over 3 minutes gone by in the second. 9-point Knick lead. Houston, beautiful pass to Buck Williams. Hard foul from Marty Conlon. And Buck Williams will shoot free throws. Conlon, his first foul.
Nice look inside by Allen Houston with the Miami defense over-committing.
Buck Williams' first free throw attempt of the series during the regular season at 73%. Williams was banged up toward the tail end of the season, had left knee surgery back in February. I want to remind you to go online to MSNBCSports.com for complete NBA playoff coverage. Log on daily for Bill Walton's game previews and click on NBC Showtime video features, analysis, and commentary. All on MSNBCSports.com. Once again, we are not responsible for anything Bill Walton tells you. Of course, Bill and the gang will be coming up later today with Houston and Utah, Game 5 from Salt Lake City. Hardaway, Childs all over him. Hardaway forces the action, feet underneath, deflected back to the bounds. Still Heat ball with 7 on the shot clock. Anthony Bowie just got his hands on it, as P.J. Brown would have had an easy layup.
Trying to read the body language of Tim Hardaway. His team down by 11 right now. Things aren't looking very smooth at the offensive end. This is when he normally takes it on his shoulders to make it happen.
Hardaway just 1 of 6 from the field. Hardaway tries, forces it up, draws the foul, and Anthony Bowie picks up his second. He'd have only taken 2 free throws. One of them was on a technical foul. You see the quiet numbers from Hardaway to start. Of course, last season, Game 7, with suspended players out in that series as well. Tim Hardaway, right from the get-go, just overwhelmed the Knicks.
And again, he picked the third quarter to really turn it on with the three-pointers. And Tim Hardaway can get them in bunches, and he's very difficult to deal with because he can step back and shoot that jumper, and he can take you off the dribble.
Missed the second free throw, however. Knicks lead is 10. Nearly 4 minutes gone by in the second. Bowie on the pull-up. Anthony Bowie knocks down a shot. Bowie's got some playoff experience. Remember, several years ago, went to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Orlando Magic.
Anthony Bowie had that outstanding game at the last one of the season against the Chicago Bulls. Knocked down 16 points. I think Jeff Van Gundy got a little more confidence in Anthony Bowie.
Marty Conlon drives to the hole. Do not expect to see that often.
You certainly don't. Marty known more for his perimeter shooting. It looks so rare to see a Miami player getting all the way to the basket that cleanly. He most definitely surprised the Knicks defense.
Murdoch with the strip. 3-on-2 break for the Heat. P.J. Brown fouled by Childs. And Brown will shoot a couple. Good hard foul, but nothing dirty there as Childs picks up his first.
And one of the rare fast break opportunities for the Heat as the crowd's starting to get energized after that Marty Conlon move. He is a crowd favorite. The defense coming alive. And the Heat, they normally like to run, but a big part of their running game is Alonzo Mourning, starting it with his defense, rebounding, shot blocking, and Alonzo runs the floor so well. Usually sprints right down the middle. Tim Hardaway looks for him. All of those elements not here today.
Jeff Van Gundy said one of the keys stopping the Heat in transition. Brown goes 1 of 2. Heat just 3 of 6 from the line. Knicks lead by 9, just under 7.5 remaining in the second. And the rebounding numbers certainly favoring the Knicks without Alonzo Mourning, another area that hurts the Heat. Houston against Mashburn. Tries it again. Houston, tough shot, won't go. Buck Williams misses with P.J. Brown a rebound. Oakley kept it alive, but Williams could not put it down. Knicks have led by as many as 12. Heat have not led. Bowie with the steal. 2-on-1 break. The pass to Houston. And the Knicks defense forcing turnovers. That's 8 Miami turnovers.
That's a terrific job by Anthony Bowie to read the eyes of Marty Collins, get into the passing lane, and then complete the play at the other end. Almost Anthony Bowie in a little bit of trouble here, able to gather himself and find Allen Houston.
Remaining, second quarter, Miami Arena, the deciding game 5, and the Knicks leading 30-19.
I got to think in that timeout, Pat Riley talking to his team about now getting Tim Hardaway involved offensively. Overall, been very sluggish.
Hardaway, three-pointer will not go, and Buck Williams with another rebound. Houston again, Mashburn's not on him most of the way, and some battling down low. Marty Conlon with a push on Oakley, who was looking for post position. Second foul on Conlon.
Well, this is the type of play that New York was so successful with in game 2, getting Allen Houston with the ball alive, his dribble alive at the top of the key, where he can be a scoring threat with the jump shot, with the drive, or be a playmaker for one of the guards running off the baseline.
14th foul against the Heat. Houston short as Murdoch grabs the board. Hardaway, Childs has been bothering him. Hardaway just 1 of 7 from the field thus far. Shot clock down to 8. Conlon down to 4. Murdoch has to put it up. And it won't go. Allen Houston helping out, and a loose ball foul called against the Heat. And Miami over the limit as P.J. Brown has picked up his second foul.
The Miami Heat just not getting very good shots right now, and you have to give the credit to the New York defense primarily by taking away the dribble drive, keeping people for the most part on the perimeter. The one exception was Marty Conlon, and nobody expected him to put it on the deck and go to the hoop.
Buck Williams back to the line for 2. Terry Mills has gotten off the Heat bench, and he'll come into the game. And Buck Williams sitting the first. Of course, game 2 of our NBA playoff tripleheader coming up. Team Olajuwon and the Rockets will take on Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz. Another do-or-die game 5. And then, of course, Glenn Rice and the Hornets. And Michael Jordan and the Bulls begin their best-of-7 second-round series. Rockets and Jazz next. Hornets and Bulls as our NBA playoff tripleheader continues.
And Pat Riley looking for some offense now will come with Terry Mills. So effective coming off the Detroit bench over the last few years, playing off Grand Hill, a lot of pick and pop situations. This longer three-point line has been a big problem for Mills, who missed a good part of the year with arthroscopic knee surgery.
Played only 50 games, never really got the groove, was a disappointment. Mills, though, spots up wide open 3, and Terry Mills, just like that, knocks down the 3. A big basket for the Miami Heat as they pull now within 10. That's their first three-pointer after missing their first 6. Williams against Brown. 6 on the shot clock. Childs leading in. Chris Childs with a tough shot. I think that tentative feeling that they had early is going away, Matt.
Well, here again, going inside to Jamal Mashburn, where he has a size advantage over Anthony Bowie, wanting to draw the double team, and that way they can kick it around to shooters Tim Hardaway and Terry Mills in particular, or if it goes to Eric Murdoch, and get a drive out of him.
Bowie picking up his 3rd foul, using the forearm just before Mashburn made the move, so Starks will get off the bench.
I was talking to Jamal Mashburn before the game, asking him how his thumb is. He was out after thumb surgery. He said it gets very stiff on him. He says he's in excellent condition. Defense isn't anywhere near where it should be or has to be for Pat Riley. But really no explanation why his offensive game is out of rhythm, other than it is just that, out of rhythm, lack of playing time.
They certainly could use it to get back into rhythm today, as Jeff Van Gundy has used his 22nd timeout with just under 5 minutes remaining. Knicks leading by 11, along with Matt Kukas and Jim Gray. Mike Green on hand, Miami Arena, in the deciding Game 5, second straight year. These two teams battled in the final game of the series right here at Miami Arena. And the second straight year they do it under the cloud of suspensions. Alonzo Mourning watching this game back home. Larry Johnson and Chris Mills watching this game at the Knicks Hotel in Coconut Grove. For the second straight year, Johnson watching the final game in the hotel. Johnson has been huge for the Knicks down low in the post. And Mourning, although he played better in the 2 losses defensively, it's so obvious what his presence means, because the Heat not the same team defensively without him.
Yeah, the irony there is the 2 games that he was brilliant offensively, the Miami Heat lost them, where he was good defensively. Able to win that as he made big plays coming down the stretch of the 4th quarter, and in Game 1 only playing 22 minutes because of foul problems, but was effective early in getting the ball inside and finding the 3-point shooters out. And Jamal Mashburn getting his first visit to the free throw line in this series.
And the Heat continue to struggle from the line, just 4 of 8. Knicks have led from the start by as many as 13. Seven on the shot clock. Cummings has Terry Mills on him this time. Mills not known for his defense. Buck Williams takes advantage. I said Cummings. It's Buck Williams with his first field goal.
Now the Knicks have thrown the ball inside to Buck Williams on a number of occasions. That's the first time he has taken a strong, authoritative shot. Other times he's just putting on the ball on the floor, hoping for somebody to come down and double team him.
Mashburn leading in, then leading away. Tough shot won't go. Used to the rebound. The Knicks defense has been superb here in this first half. Heat shooting just 33% from the field.
And the Miami Heat just have nothing going on the offensive glass.
Starks knocks it down. And the Knicks their largest lead, a 15-point advantage. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the second. Murdoch trying to find an opening. Starks takes it right away. The break the other way. Houston jams it in. And the Knicks go up by 17. Pat Riley wants a 22nd timeout. And this crowd is stunned. A 12-4 run by the Knicks. Sparked by their defense. They lead it 40-23.
Now the Knicks defense has been suffocating against the Miami Heat, and every time the Heat make any kind of mistake, the Knicks getting out, looking to run, and getting easy baskets, the reason for that 17-point lead. Pat Riley said it coming in. We will miss Alonzo Mourning a lot more than the Knicks will miss the 2 small forwards, Larry Johnson and Chris Mills, mainly because of Alonzo Mourning's presence. And he has been so accurate so far at both ends of the floor. No big man, and the Miami Heat just look like a very ordinary team right now.
Larry Johnson has become a very underrated defender for the Knicks, and he's played well defensively, but morning's presence defensively means so much more to his team at that end of the floor. And right now, Matt, this lead for the Knicks is their largest of the series. A 17-point advantage, just under 3.5 to play. The Heat need Tim Hardaway to find his range. Hardaway just 1 of 7 from the field. He has been absolutely brilliant in the series, but is struggling here in the first half.
And so far, it looks like a mistake on the part of the Miami Heat by trying to hold Tim Hardaway down themselves to get other players involved. Many times, a great player like a Hardaway should go out and get his game going and let the other players react to him, and then they can play off him. So the passivity of Tim Hardaway is hurt early.
Allen Houston picks up number 3. He was guarding Terry Mills, who quickly tried to post him up. Houston with 10 points. Started off slowly, but starting to find the range. Mills hitting the free throw.
In Terry Mills' early years in New Jersey, and the first couple in Detroit, he was a good low-post player, excellent interior passer, but developed into a very uncanny three-point shooter for a 6'10" man. And Detroit was so successful with Bill Lambier in that role, they liked the way it opened up the floor for Grant Hill.
Mills was 8th in the NBA in free throw shooting last season with the Pistons, but as you mentioned, between the knee injury and the change in teams and the longer three-point line, it's different this year. Starks with a 3. John Starks from way downtown, and the Knicks have a 19-point lead. Shocking numbers here in the first half. Knicks have hit 6 in a row. Eric Murdoch wide open 3, answers back quickly.
And the Knicks will live with that. I don't think they're all that concerned with Murdoch's ability from beyond the arc in this series. The big thing they want to take away is penetration. That's where they can get broken down.
That's only Murdoch's second 3 of the series. Shot clock is 7. Childs with the spin move. Buck Williams mishandles it, gets it back. 3 on the shot clock. Childs has to put it up. Just off the rim. Mills a rebound. Knicks by 16. A little over 2 minutes remaining. And a shocking first half. Mashburn, wide open 3. Back-to-back 3s for the Heat. And huge shots after falling back by 19.
And right away, Jeff Van Gundy wants to talk about that. That's what he's concerned about. Penetration and then the kick out for the three-pointer.
Miami on a little roll, 6-0 run. They still trail by 13, under 2 minutes left in the half. Tim Hardaway just 1 of 7 from the field, 0 for 4 from downtown. The Heat trailing by 13, but Jamal Mashburn with 10 points, helping the 6-0 run. Oakley hesitating, then putting it in. Charles Oakley has really shot well. 5 of 6 from the field. He's got 10.
Mike, you know you're going well when you can still make that shot. As hot as Oakley has been from the perimeter, he shouldn't hesitate at all.
Trying to post up Bowie. Murdoch on a penetration. Tough shot, won't go over the foul. And Murdoch goes to the line. Starks picking up the personal. That's his first.
Charles Oakley so wide open, he's almost hoping somebody will come out and put a hand up. Terry Mills finally obliges. But Charles Oakley doing a good job, not only at that end, but doing a good job defensively of covering up in the lane, helping out his guard with the Heat's penetration.
Murdoch misses the free throw. Oakley 10.7 rebounds in the solid defense. Heat now from the free throw line, 5 of 11. Knicks is a team shooting 78% in the series. The Heat just 71% from the line in the first 4 games. And struggling here today. 14-point Knick lead. A little over a minute left. Opening half. Oakley, the feed to Buck Williams. Beautiful pass from Charles Oakley. And the Knicks back up by 16.
Terrific execution. You normally don't get those kind of easy baskets in the half-court offense against a very tough Miami defense. It was very soft right there.
Terry Mills, another 3. Buck Williams, the rebound. Buck Williams, already 9 rebounds in the first half.
And they got 4 from Terry Cummings as the starting center.
Starks are through. In and out. P.J. Brown knocked out of bounds by Oakley. And the Heat will get it back with 39.7 remaining.
There's John Starks working on the pick and roll, and then the overcommitment. And Terry Mills, not known as a good individual defender and not a particularly good team defender right there, as he did not make the rotation and cover up at the basket.
Cummings back in once again, not to beat a dead horse, but Lonzo Mourning's absence so huge right now in terms of the type of defense you normally see from the Miami Heat. Mashburn on the pull-up. Brown knocks it off the glass, but Oakley grabs his. Lonzo Mourning.
Well, they found some scoring punch from a man who hasn't been giving it to them, Jamal Mashburn, but really not enough. Jamal only had a little good stretch against Charles Oakley. Then he became tentative, settling for perimeter jump shots.
Same 5 that started for the Knicks: Starks, Ward, Houston, Oakley, and Cummings. Mark Strickland is in the game for the first time. He starts the second half. Ward underneath, able to bank it on the reverse. Pretty pass inside, and Charlie Ward with his second field goal. Knicks up by 18.
And the reason for Mark Strickland, he's a good open court player. Get out on the break, play above the rim, an energy kind of guy, which is what Miami needs right now.
Hardaway, just 1 of 7 in the first half, knocking down his first shot here in the third. Strickland, by the way, has only played in 2 of the 4 games. He's only played 4 minutes in the series prior to today. Houston on a pull-up. Allen Houston knocks it down. Houston with 12.
That's a really tough cover for Jamal Mashburn, not known for his defense down the perimeter, does not move his feet that well.
Mashburn with Houston around him down the other end. P.J. Brown left open, and Brown knocking down a shot. Brown with 7 points, 3 of 5 from the field.
And you can see the Knicks defense breaking down there on the post-up opportunity for Mashburn against Houston. Both players should have a lot of problems guarding one another.
Cummings coming up high to set the screen for Starks. Gets by Leonard. Starks on a pull-up. John Starks once again. Starks with 13 points. We call him the X-Factor before the game. When Starks plays well, the Knicks are a difficult team to beat. Hardaway the penetration. Brown again, this time with a hand in his face. He hits it again.
Well, that's something that the Knicks defense was able to do in the first half. Keep Hardaway from getting in the lane and penetrating. Charlie Ward going over committing there and opening up that lane.
Each team has hit their first 3 shots in the half. And making 4 in a row for the Knicks is Allen Houston. Now with 14, the Knicks back up by 18.
What defense? Both teams firing away.
Unlikely shooting numbers here in the third. Hardaway. Strickland on a follow, and Strickland with his first points of the series.
There's that active live body for Mark Strickland, third-year man out of Temple, where he played for John Chaney in what was a pretty much of a slow-down setup. His best game is in that open floor.
Mashburn knocks it away from Houston. Hardaway, beautiful feed down low, and Strickland able to put it in. And Jim Van Gundy wants a 20-second timeout. The Heat did not score a single point in fast break opportunities in the first half. They didn't have a lot of fast breaks, but here they're able to push it up this time.
Tim Hardaway breaking the defense down, and Mark Strickland, too quick, too agile. Nobody gets a body on him as all heads turn toward Hardaway. And actually, Strickland got pushed from behind by John Starks on this play, but running the middle of the floor very nicely. And the Miami Heat, this is the way they can get back into this game with some good defense and getting out and running, something they were unable to do in that first half.
There you see the numbers shooting to start the period. Mark Strickland, his 3rd year out of Temple, had a great stretch during the course of the regular season because of various injuries to P.J. Brown and Lonzo Mourning. Had some big-time numbers at one point, but has hardly played at all. As you see, hadn't scored prior to Game 5, only played 4 minutes, and did not play at all in 2 of the 4 games.
I think a big reason why Strickland did not play much in those earlier games, so much of playoff basketball is half court. And Strickland certainly doesn't thrive in that area. He's got to get in that open floor.
Heat want to make it an open floor game. Starks the feed to Cummings, and Cummings hacked by Strickland. Terry Cummings will shoot 2 as Strickland picks up his first.
And another reason why Mark Strickland might not get a lot of playing time, he makes a defensive mistake here, not rotating quickly enough. Right away, Tim Hardaway getting into his ear, letting him know about it.
Cummings in the first half, 2 points, 4 rebounds. Buck Williams getting a lot of time. And it's the first one. Of course, coming up next on NBC, Game 2 of our NBA playoff tripleheader. The Houston Rockets and the Utah Jazz do-or-die Game 5 from Salt Lake City. And then, of course, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Michael Jordan and the Bulls against Glenn Rice. And the Charlotte Hornets, who beat the Hawks in Atlanta to wrap up that series the other night. 1 of 2 for Cummings. Nick lead is 15. 3 minutes gone by in the third. Mashburn against Oakley. Mashburn, tough drive, won't go. Tipped up and in by P.J. Brown.
Like we saw in the first half, Charles Oakley gave a lot of ground to Jamal Mashburn, kept him thinking on the perimeter. This time he got a little bit closer defensively, and it enabled Mashburn to beat him off the dribble.
The Heat have picked up their defensively, their intensive, as Oakley misses their intensity on the defensive end, I want to say. You can see a difference here to start the third quarter, Matt. Mashburn a 3. Starks falls it down.
And this is the kind of tempo that Miami needs to get back into this game. Force the issue, get it down quickly, take the first good available shot.
Traveling called on Oakley. And the Knicks turn it over.
There, Charles Oakley getting way too close to Jamal Mashburn for his foot speed, enabling Mashburn to get in there, and P.J. Brown following up again. Anytime anybody beats anybody off penetration, all heads will turn. They will gravitate towards the ball, and that's how you get second shot opportunities.
This crowd has come alive. The Knicks, led by as many as 19 in the first half, quieting the crowd. Leonard, nice head fake down low, Strickland, and a foul call on Charlie Ward.
Boy, that's the first time I heard you mention Sean Leonard in a long time. I think ever since games 2 and 3, when he lit up the Knicks with 25 and 28, Jeff Van Gundy has really set the pitfalls after him to stay very close to Sean Leonard.
Deshaun Jordan is what Jeff Van Gundy was calling him, but he's only 1 of 3. Ward with the steal after picking up his third foul. He makes the defensive play there. Houston with a 3. Ball tipped and Starks right there to pick it up. Starks, that's a 3. That's good. John Starks from downtown. And the Knicks back up by 16. 16 points for John Starks. Have a huge game 2 here in Miami. Brown makes the drive, and he's fouled before the shot. Cummings committing the personal. Second foul on Terry Cummings.
Actually, John Starks was initially open on the early part of the play, passed up by Allen Houston, who took his three-pointer. Starks could not wait to get his hands on the ball, as you see the reaction from the Knicks bench.
Timeout Heat. They trail by 16 here in the third.
An outstanding job on the backboards and defensively by Oakley in that first half.
In recognition of this look inside the game, the Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Heat will inbound. Just under 7.5 remaining in the third. And they have the ball on the wrong side. Steve Javy enjoying the referee faux pas.
And Charles, I should say John Starks getting upset with Allen Houston, not knowing who he should be guarding. He's going to be trying to watch Mark Strickland. That'll be tough for Allen Houston, keeping him off the glass.
And a fourth foul on Sean Leonard, pushing off John Starks to get free. And Leonard now with 4 fouls. He has not been a factor, just 3 points, 1 of 3 from the field.
And this is what Jeff Van Gundy has taken exception to, the fact that Sean Leonard, when he was having those big games in 2 and 3, 25 and 28, he was letting the Knicks hear about doing a lot of talking out on the floor.
Houston the drive, uses the right hand and puts it in. Allen Houston strong to the goal, and it's back to an 18-point lead. 16 points for Houston. Leonard trying to get on track, Starks trailing him. They kick it out for an open Mashburn. Jamal Mashburn shied. And Terry Cummings boxing out, enabling the Knicks to get the tip. The feed down low. Houston with a left hand. Beautiful pass from Charlie Ward. And the largest lead of the game for the Knicks. They're up by 20.
Just like the football quarterback that he was, looking off the defense, faking that pass, and the look to Starks outside, and then the nice pass inside to Houston.
Hardaway and Oakley with a hard foul. as Oakley just walks away, as is Brown.
Allen Houston up at the top, just too quick for Jamal Mashburn, beating him. Good help, however, by P.J. Brown. And then a transition situation, looking outside to John Starks, and that's where Bashan Leonard looked. He was going to pop out, cover Starks, and Allen Houston doing a good job of moving without the ball, just kept running to the hole.
That pass from Ward, his 9th assist, is P.J. Brown. Another missed free throw. He's 1 of 4, and the Heat is a team 6 of 13. The last foul on Oakley, his 2nd. And you're just wondering when Tim Hardaway is just going to try and take it over. Hardaway is struggling shooting. Still just 2 of 9, but Pat Riley wanted him to distribute, and Nick just try and take it all on his own shoulders. Nick's trying to isolate Houston. Backdoor, knocked away by Leonard. Excellent defense from Bashan Leonard.
In the early part of the season, when Houston would get that ball, here's Mark Strickland getting behind the defense and nobody finding him. He's very quick, he's very active, but he shouldn't be that quick to lose total sight of him.
Poor transition defense by the Knicks. 6 points for Strickland, who's helped out here in the 3rd quarter. Cummings with the head fake. Terry Cummings knocking down his 2nd field goal.
And that shot looked good all the way for Terry Cummings, mainly because he was able to put it on the floor once, move to his left, where he's comfortable and getting into some kind of a rhythm.
Knicks shooting 56% from the field. Mashburn blocked by Ward. Mashburn gets it back, still 6 on the shot clock. Leonard, nice head fake to get Starks away, and Bashan Leonard hits his first 3 of the game.
And Leonard had to do a tightrope job along that sideline, avoiding stepping out of bounds on a hard pass from Jamal Mashburn.
16-point Knick lead. Ward, the pass to Oakley. Charles Oakley hits another jumper. Oakley now 6 of 8 from the field, and the Knicks back up by 18.
Just about every time the Knicks run some kind of a pick-and-roll situation, the Miami Heat defense breaks down, and New York gets a good look.
Mashburn left open. Charlie Ward the rebound.
And I think it's a matter of conditioning right now, Mike. Every shot for Jamal Mashburn has come up front rim.
Hard foul on the other side. No whistle. Ball knocked loose. Houston picks it up, kicks it out. Starks fakes the 3. Now puts another 3 up. Terry Cummings trying to tip it, and a loose ball foul call against the Heat. Mark Strickland will be whistled for this one. Strickland picking up his 2nd, and for the Heat, their 2nd team foul.
Hardaway trying to get around, so to speak, Charles Oakley to get to John Starks. Just hog-tied him around the neck. Both players go down hard, but no extracurriculars after that. Could they have learned?
You would only hope so. It hasn't happened in the past. Houston, tough pull-up. It's good. Allen Houston with Mashburn right in his face. And the Knicks back up by 20. Pat Riley wants timeout. 20 points for Allen Houston. 4:19 remaining 3rd quarter. A surprising score right now from Miami Arena.
Guys, get your heads up. Everybody's got their heads down. You look like the game's over. Just a couple of more runs. We can get right back into this thing. Don't quit now. Mike?
Thank you, Jim. And certainly with a Tim Hardaway out there, and you're still in the 3rd quarter. That is absolutely true. But the Knicks playing exceptional ball. P.J. Brown on the reverse side. Move for P.J. Brown. And Brown coming alive. 14 points offensively.
But Jamal Mashburn, who had some good moments in the first half for Miami, having a nightmare here in the 3rd quarter. 0 for 5 from the field. All of his shots short and struggling defensively against Allen Houston.
Cummings a little too much English, and the Heat coming it away. Hardaway nearly knocked away, and the Knicks come up with a steal. Starks, but P.J. Brown, good helping out there. Hardaway just shoved Charlie Ward, and Jim Clark saw it. Has some words for Hardaway, who walks away. They're going to call a double foul, though, on Ward and Hardaway. Now, I just saw the Hardaway push, did not see if Ward made some contact before. So often the officials catch the second one.
And And the big smile by Charlie Ward indicating that he can't believe this call. There, the shove by Tim Hardaway. I don't know how Charlie Ward gets a foul there. It's a frustration shove on the part of Tim Hardaway, who tried to penetrate and was bottled up nicely by John Starks.
Childs, who bottled up Hardaway in the first half, back in. Ward will sit down with 4 fouls. Ward with 10 assists in the game. They lob it to Strickland. Leonard with Houston on him. Rashawn Leonard, tough three. Fight underneath. Oakley and Cummings, superb boxing out to get that rebound. An 18-point Knick lead. Little over 3 minutes remaining in the third.
Pointed out Allen Houston having a good third quarter. 10 of the 22 points for the Knicks.
Oakley misfires. Leonard the rebound. Leonard makes his move. Hardaway has it poked away. Hardaway's only taken 2 shots here in the third quarter. Starks all over him. 8 on the shot clock. Hardaway left-handed. Tip by won't go. Fight for the rebound. Oakley knocked away. Right to Hardaway. Hardaway on the reverse puts it in. Terrific second effort from the Miami Heat, and Hardaway with just his 3rd field goal. He's got 7 points.
It seems so unusual to see Tim Hardaway struggle on his ball handling, but it's been the persistent defense of the New York Guards giving him fits.
The Knicks will call timeout. Chris Childs trying to explain to Hugh Evans, Hugh Hollins that is, I want a timeout.
There's John Starks poking away at the ball, forcing Hardaway to his left into a very tough shot, but Miami stays with it to finally knock it down.
T.J. Brown keeping it alive. Knicks by 16. The Heat by 16. Allen Houston, the game's leading scorer, with 20.
Allen Houston got off to a slow start in the first quarter, had a little bit of foul problem, but really picking it up here in the third. 10 of his 20 here as he is really working over Jamal Mashburn, who looks more and more fatigued as this game goes on.
Matt, you asked Houston yesterday, what are his recollections of Game 7 last year in Miami? He said he remembers being really nervous. He knew he was going to be nervous here today, but he also said, I'm a lot more prepared.
Well, he was so disappointed with himself last year, turning the ball over as much as he did. He's supposed to be a shooter, scorer, get it up in the air, don't give it to the other team. He had 6 turnovers in that 7th game.
Starks turns it over there, and the Heat with some signs of life for the crowd trying to get behind them. Eric Murdoch back in the game. Hardaway, alley-oop, Strickland, it won't go down. Oakley saves it to Childs. Knicks defended it well. Strickland nearly made a spectacular play. Under 2 minutes remaining in the third. Childs on a pull-up, blocked by Strickland. Mark Strickland has been a factor here in the third quarter. Hardaway at 3. It's good. Tim Hardaway from downtown. And the Heat are within 13.
Everybody in this building waiting for Tim Hardaway to come up with some kind of explosion. Who knows? That might be the start.
Hardaway, one of a handful of players who can carry a team on his back. Allen Houston can't connect fast for the rebound. The Heat with some bounce in their step. Hardaway, one of the top clutch players in the league right now, makes the drive, blocked by Buck Williams. Still Heat ball with 10 on the shot clock.
Well, for a couple of sequences, Miami coming down, running long, involved set plays. Very hard to execute against New York's defense. Tim Hardaway that time given a little room, always looking to take it in transition. Riley was calling a play here. Tim Hardaway said, I'm taking it myself.
Riley now calls a 20-second timeout. Obviously feeling this possession is huge as the Heat on a bit of a roll. And, of course, after this game from Miami, coming up next in a NBC playoffs tripleheader, the Rockets and the Jazz, Game 5 from the Delta Center. And then, of course, after that game, it's going to be the Bulls and the Hornets. And Tim Hardaway just got hit with a technical foul. And you just shake your head. That's mind-boggling. In a game you're down by so many points at every point. So important. Hardaway, who's supposed to be a leader, gets hit with a technical. Just shake your head at that, Matty.
You do, Mike, but on that particular drive, he was trying to initiate contact. He felt he did get enough of it. felt he should have gone to the free throw line. We've seen a lot of frustration moves by Tim Hardaway. You remember last Sunday in Game 2, Tim Hardaway was really quiet, especially in the second half. Fourth quarter in particular, as Hardaway continues to give an earful to referee Hugh Holland.
Still mind-boggling that you pick up a technical at this point. Allen Houston will go down the other end and shoot the technical. He hit both of his free throws here today. And in games like this, so many of these Knicks Heat games come down to the final seconds. 1 or 2 points can make a difference. A technical free throw can make a difference between winning a series and losing a series.
Especially when you're in the midst of a little bit of run where the building is energized, your team looks like they've got some life.
They have 10 on the shot clock as they inbound. Mashburn looks to post up Oakley. Mashburn shot Bowie on the foul. Came over to help out, blocked the shot, but also got a piece of the arm. And Anthony Bowie picks up his fourth. Mashburn to shoot 2.
We've seen a couple of times where Mashburn has put the ball on the floor going to his left and then trying to fade away, but still not quick enough, not enough explosion on the leap, and he's gotten a couple of shots blocked, and the only reason that was called against Anthony Bowie is he was so vehement with the swat.
Mashburn hitting the first free throw.
Now, Anthony Bowie has him measured, got all ball initially, and maybe on the follow-through got some wrist.
Mashburn hits both. Jamal Mashburn, first time in the series in double figures. He has 12. He's a New York product. Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx. This is the closest the Heat have been in the third quarter. They trail by as many as 20. Houston on the spin. Tough turnaround. Allen Houston won't go down the tip pile. And taken away by Mashburn. The Heat with some momentum. Hardaway, another three. Puts it in. Tim Hardaway from downtown. And it's a 9-point game.
And Mike, he was not that open. Chris Childs was up in his face challenging the shot. But Tim Hardaway does not need a lot of space.
Final seconds of the third. Shot clock is turned off. Houston double team. Childs a long three. In and out. And there's the buzzer. And the Heat get themselves right back into it. A 12-1 run. Tim Hardaway with a pair of threes. The Heat down by 20. Have full within 9. We'll be back in Miami after these messages from your local station.
20.
Θα σταματήσει στη Μόντσα η έκπληξη του φετινού πρωταθλήματος Νόρι Γιούκι Χάγκα? Το σίγουρο είναι ότι θα το προσπαθήσουν οι διώκτες του στο παγκόσμιο πρωτάθλημα Superbike. Ομάδες, κινητήρες, αναβάτες σε εγρήγορση για τον τρίτο γύρο στη θρυλική Ιταλική πίστα. Παρακολουθήστε την Κυριακή τις μάχες τροχό με τροχό, αποκλειστικά και ζωντανά στο Super Sport.
Στήθος 98. Στήθος 98. Μέση 76.
Αν θες να φτιάξεις την τύχη στα μέτρα σου, τώρα είναι πολύ απλό.
Περιφέρεια 123.
Αρκεί να παίξεις νέο πρώτο. Φτιάξε το τυχερό σου νούμερο στο νέο ανεξάρτητο δελτίο και έχεις 11 ευκαιρίες να κερδίσεις μέχρι 100 εκατομμύρια. Νέο πρώτο. Τώρα και σε ανεξάρτητο δελτίο. Εύκολα παίζεις, εύκολα κερδίζεις. Ο ΠΑΟ. Η ζωή είναι διαφορετική μετά από αυτό.
Fourth quarter set to begin in Miami, the deciding game 5. And the Heat finish up the third, a 12-1 run. They fall to within 9. The Knicks led by 20 with just over 4 minutes remaining in the third. And Tim Hardaway awakened, and an offensive foul called on Mashburn, setting a screen on Childs. Hardaway was quiet for 2.5 quarters at only 3 points, and then erupted for 10 points in the final 4 minutes of the third.
Well, it looked like Jamal Mashburn was set. Chris Childs knew he was in trouble. He was trying to make some contact. I think he fooled the official there.
A lot of theatrical play in this series. Houston with a jumper. Allen Houston knocks down the shot, and the Knicks back up by 11.
Set up by a good hard screen from Buck Williams.
Houston with 23. Buck Williams has played very big for the Knicks. Mashburn with the spin. Tough shot won't go, and Buck Williams, who defended him there, also gets the rebound. The help defense from Buck Williams made Mashburn alter his shot a bit. Knicks trying to get it to Houston. Murdoch's on him. Williams gets a fake Strickland the foul, and then Buck Williams will go to the line as Strickland picking up his third.
Allen Houston, who works so well off the ball, if you lose attachment as Jamal Mashburn does here, you are in a heap of trouble. No way you can recover. And Buck Williams kind of cleaning it up at the end, knocking Mashburn off to open up Allen Houston.
They call that foul before the shot. First team foul against the Heat. Knicks to inbound. Houston off balance. Anthony Bowie. Oakley with another long-range shot, way off the mark. Bowie trying to save it. Murdoch does. And Hardaway comes the other way for the Heat. Hardaway forces up and puts it in. Tim Hardaway finding his game of the Heat within 9. Delay a game warning call against the Heat.
Yeah, for some reason, Jamal Mashburn taking that ball out of the net and throwing it to the officials, just leaving it alone. Mashburn's gone all the way. I thought earlier he looked very tired on that last drive to the basket by Mashburn. He looked like his body was alive.
The Heat re-energized. Their body language did not look good midway through the third when they were down 20. Mashburn and Buck Williams getting caught up there. 4 on the shot clock. Childs the runner. Way high off the glass. Buck Williams the rebound. And a 24-second violation is not going to be called because the ball hit the rim. Pat Riley saying, no way. Hugh Holland says, no, it touched the iron. Houston on a fallaway shot. Buck Williams another rebound and kicks it back out. And a whistle as the play starting to get much more physical. Crowd still upset with the 24-second call. We'll take a timeout. Just over 2 minutes gone by in the fourth. Knicks leading by 9. Where? In New Jersey or here?
Wait a minute. Another offensive rebound for Buck Williams, who has been brilliant on the board. Nobody on Miami can get a body on him, and the Knicks have gotten themselves an extra possession.
Buck Williams, half of his 12 rebounds on the offensive end as the Knicks get that break. Leading by 9. Still plenty of time. Just under 2 minutes gone by in the fourth. Childs looking up at the shot clock, puts it up, in and out, won't go, Strickland the rebound. The Knicks have led from the start by as many as 20. Heat trying to make the huge comeback and keep their season alive. Murdoch, the runner. P.J. Brown! What a follow! Strickland was right there as well. They're giving it to Strickland. And it's a 7-point game. Charles Oakley steps back. Leonard the rebound. The Heat with the momentum right now. Pat Riley urging him to push it up the floor. Hardaway a three. Oakley the rebound.
Well, we've seen Tim Hardaway make that shot so many times. It looks like it's a 4% shot. Not necessarily for him.
Childs, and he's fouled hard by P.J. Brown and just walks away. No, they called offensive foul. By correction. Childs for pushing off.
Any kind of penetration by the Miami Heat. And then P.J. Brown, Mark Strickland have been hammering the offensive glass, and they'll give the bucket to Strickland. 4 out of 5 from the field, 4 rebounds for Mark Strickland. Didn't play a minute in the first half.
And they call the foul on Childs. Once again, that's his second. Chance of Let's Go Heat here at Miami Arena. Knicks leading by 7, still 8.5 to play. Brown against Buck Williams. Foul call. Buck Williams a little over aggressive. He'll pick up the first one. And for the Knicks, just their first team foul.
Well, P.J. Brown has been asked by Pat Riley to pick it up offensively in that unusual position for him. Set play, post up. He's responded offensively with 14 points, 9 rebounds.
Hardaway, quick three. In and out. That one halfway down as Buck Williams gets the board. The crowd ready to explode if that one went down. A long way to go here in the fourth. Starks the hard drive high off the glass. And the Knicks starting to miss now on their drive to the basket. Murdoch quickly the other way. The tip by P.J. Brown. Brown and Strickland getting it done. And the Knicks call timeout. A standing ovation at Miami Arena. The Heat have cut it now to 5 on an 18-3 run. P.J. Brown on the follow. Just over 4 minutes gone by, fourth quarter. The Heat down by 20, a full within 5. The NBA on NBC. By 20 with just over 4 minutes to go in the third, now within 5. They've done it before this year. Back in February 28th, playing the Nets in New Jersey, the Heat were down by 20, came back and won the game.
And the Knicks are searching for offense. Nothing has looked smooth in this fourth quarter. Only 2 points, and Allen Houston has that.
Board back in the game for Childs. Shot clock down to 6. Starks on the drive. Pass underneath Buck Williams. And a foul before the shot. No, a 3-second violation. Knicks struggling offensively.
Well, one of the reasons why Buck Williams has 6 offensive rebounds in that game, you got to cheat a little bit. You got to go into that lane as much as possible to establish your position, and that time he got caught.
There you see the turnovers. Miami struggling in the first half in that department, protecting the ball in the second half. Hardaway, hop step to 3, puts it in. A 2-point game. Tim Hardaway on fire in the second half.
Set up by a very hard flare pick by P.J. Brown. Probably Tim Hardaway's best look for the afternoon.
This place is bedlam. And there's still 7 minutes to play. Ward gets to the Houston. There's the double team. Houston 7 on the shot clock, taken out, but a foul called. You can hardly hear the whistle as Jim Clark makes the call.
Tremendous pick by P.J. Brown to free up Tim Hardaway. Getting that excellent look. Allen Houston way too far behind to catch up on that rotation. This is when the Knicks need Allen Houston or John Starks to make big offensive plays.
That foul on Leonard is 5th. Ward a 3. Puts it in. Charlie Ward with a clutch shot for the Knicks. And they go back up by 5. The Heat were on a 21-3 run. Hardaway another 3. Misfires. That one Starks in his face. And a whistle as they head up the floor. Mark Strickland called for the foul. That's going to be the 14th foul on the Heat. Chance for everyone, players and fans alike, to take a deep breath and look at Tim Hardaway. Boy, he's just exploded here in the second half after being a complete non-factor in the first 2 quarters. Houston, tough pull-away shot. Allen Houston, and the Knicks answer right back with a quick 5-0 run.
That's why Miami does not want Houston to turn to the baseline. The double team was coming, but he just got in the air so quickly, defense couldn't react.
Hardaway to feed to P.J. Brown, fouled hard. Starks and Oakley converging, and P.J. Brown will return to the free throw line. Starks, they call it on Oakley. That's his third.
There's that penetration again by Tim Hardaway. When he frees himself up to get into the lane, good things happen for the Miami defense. Whether it's an open shot out on the wing or follow-up opportunities for P.J. Brown or Mark Strickland, and P.J. Brown continues to labor from the foul line.
Now 2 of 6. He's played a strong game, 16 points, 10 boards. But Brown, like the Heat, really struggling from the free throw line. 6:07 remaining, just about midway through the fourth. Pat Riley's team down by 7. And Brown misses another, Starks the rebound. Horrible free throw shooting from the Heat. 9 of 18. Houston, a 3. Strickland high for the rebound. Strickland 8 points, 6 boards, all in the second half.
Jeff Van Gundy very unhappy with that shot by Allen Houston. I think he wants him to challenge the defense, put it on the floor, see if he can't get himself to the foul line.
Brown hesitated on the shot. Hardaway trying to get away from the double team. Kicks it out. Murdoch, that's a 2. Well off the mark is Houston aboard. Just under 5.5 remaining. Knicks holding on to a 7-point lead. And a whistle away from the ball. Houston trying to get free. Leonard and Brown around there. They call it on P.J. Brown. That's his third. And the Heat over the limit with 5:19 to play. And Allen Houston will shoot 2. Knicks, meanwhile, with only 2 team fouls. Both teams with plenty of timeouts remaining, each with 3. 3 full timeouts. Houston's numbers.
Allen Houston telling us yesterday how much he relishes the role of becoming more than just a spot-up shooter or a guy that comes off baseline screens and pin downs. He's always felt he had the ability to put the ball on the floor, create his own shot. And now when Patrick Ewing went out, he's been asked to create shots for other people. That is a little bit of a different role for him.
A missed free throw, though, by Houston. Normally automatic. Knicks lead is 8. Just over 5 minutes remaining. Hardaway on the drive. And a foul. Tim Hardaway with a chance for the traditional three-point play.
Well, Charlie Ward has been so used to seeing Tim Hardaway at the top of the key here in the post-up, and Charlie gets himself out of position, maybe standing up a little bit too straight. And Hardaway with a quick blow-by move on the baseline.
Hardaway erupting in the third. That foul on Ward, his 5th. So Ward and Leonard, the only 2 with 5. Hardaway completes the three-point play. Knicks lead by 5 with 5 to play in the fourth. Mashburn on Houston. Houston makes his drive. The runner too hard off the glass. Houston right there, blocked by Brown, but a foul. And more free throws coming up for the Knicks. Mashburn underneath. Picking up the personal. That's 4 on Mashburn. And Houston will go right back to the line.
Mike, the difference in this Game 5 compared to earlier games in the series when Allen Houston would get the ball at the top of the key, the Knicks would have some good off-the-ball action, some baseline screens to keep the defense busy. Now they're able to zero in them a little bit more with everybody spotted up.
Triple header coming up. The Jazz hosting the Rockets Game 5 there, and then Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Semis. Michael Jordan and the Bulls against the Hornets. NBA triple header this afternoon on NBC. 28 for Allen Houston, who hits a pair. Knicks by 7, just over 4.5 remaining. The Heat trying to make an incredible comeback. They trailed by 20 in the third. They've been as close as 2, but have never had the lead in this game. 6 on the shot clock. Mashburn left open. Hardaway at to pass it up. And Ward with the steal. Knicks have the numbers the other way. Ward, the feed to Oakley. Oakley puts it in and a foul. And I believe they may have called a flagrant foul there. Hugh Hollins making the call. The basket will count. And let's take a look.
A big play in this game at this juncture. You see the finish on the fast break, the hard foul, too hard, the flagrant. As Charlie Ward doing a great job in the assist department. But it was the defense at the other end of the floor by John Starks who really rushed out hard on Tim Hardaway deep in that right corner to take him off. That what looked like was going to be a wide open three-point shot made him change it, hang in the air, and turn the ball over.
Mashburn, the foul, his fifth. So Oakley, the basket will count. Knicks go up by 9 with 4:21 remaining. And then after the free throw, the Knicks will take the ball out of bounds as well. Oakley nails the free throw. Only one free throw on this flagrant foul because the basket was good. But the key on that call was Oakley was up in the air when Mashburn shoved him. Hugh Hollins immediately made the flagrant foul call. Knicks back up by 10. Knicks on a 13-1 run since the Heat cut it to within 2. Houston looks up at the shot clock. Knicks again try to isolate. Houston on the drive. Allen Houston flips it out to Ward. Up top, Starks. Starks the three. It's good. John Starks from downtown. And the Knicks back up by 13. Timeout, Miami. Excellent ball movement to set up a wide-open John Starks.
And it turns into a 6-point play after the flagrant foul. Penetration.
That was great, bringing up the flagrant on the John Starks with 19 at that three-point field goal. He's 4 of 8 from downtown, and that flagrant foul, a huge call right now. With a little under 4 minutes remaining, the Knicks back up by 13. They're on a 14-3 run. And a foul away from the ball once again. Players trying to battle through screens. Hugh Hollins and Jim Clark deciding who's going to make the call. Clark says it's on John Starks. And Starks picks up his second foul. Knicks with 14 fouls.
Now, Miami does not necessarily need a barrage of three-pointers at this point, even though they're down 13. But knowing their style of play, they'll launch them anyway. They're right on their average for the series, 7 of 20 from beyond the arc.
Hardaway's 3 of 10. P.J. Brown looking to post up Buck Williams. Tough fall-away shot. And P.J. Brown knocks it down, making it 86-75. Brown now with 18 points. Under 3.5 to play. Heat looking to trap at every opportunity.
And all good free throw shooters on the floor for the Knicks right now. The only suspect, Buck Williams, but he's been shooting them well this year.
Ward, beautiful feed, and Buck Williams slams it in. Charlie Ward with another assist, his 13th of the game. Hardaway, offensive foul. P.J. Brown setting a hard screen on Starks. And the Knicks will get it back with 3:06 to play, holding on to a 13-point lead. 4 on P.J. Brown.
Well, even though Tim Hardaway has gotten away from the Knicks guard in this second half, the attention to him has been intense. With an outstanding job in the first half, cutting down on his penetration and looking to trap him more and more, making it very difficult for Hardaway.
Buck Williams cuts pass to Oakley, can't hold on. And the Knicks with a turnover. Heat will get it back, 2:49 remaining. A 13-point Knick lead. Stark watching for screens. Now Houston picks him up on the switch. Mashburn, that's a 2. Jamal Mashburn hits the shot. 2.5 remaining. 88-77.
Oh boy, the Knicks had a 2-on-1 situation. Now they find it. And a good decision by Buck Williams, taking time off the clock, the most important thing for the Knicks at this point.
Pat Riley urging his team for the double teams. Oakley gets the feed, draws the foul. Shot won't go. Starks finding him underneath, and Charles Oakley will shoot 2 free throws. Oakley from the line in the series is a perfect 15 for 15. Hardaway, the foul, his second. So Oakley has not missed a free throw yet in the postseason. Still 2:13 remaining. Oakley misfires his first miss of the playoffs. He shot a career-high 85% from the line during the regular season. It's always the last thing you talk about, but free throw shooting, so important.
Jeff Van Gundy was saying before the game that in Knicks losses in the past, it's always been poor free throw shooting that played a major part. He emphasized that coming in today. Now, you can emphasize it. It's another thing to put him in the hole.
Hardaway pass deflected and stolen by Houston. Knicks come the other way. Houston makes the move, and Mashburn with the hard foul. And Allen Houston will shoot free throws with 2:03 remaining. And some of the fans here at Miami Arena now get up from their seats and start to exit. Mashburn is fouled out. And the exodus begins. The Knicks with a commanding 12-point lead with just over 2 minutes remaining. Houston with a chance to add to it.
Allen Houston on the verge of becoming an all-star player. Will play with the World Championship in the World Championship tournament this coming summer with the American team. But a big mark of a player who is trying to strive for that greatness is what do they do in fourth quarters. Allen Houston has come up big in this fourth quarter.
And he's got 30 for the game. Knicks lead by 14 with 2 minutes left. Hardaway finding Strickland. The ball deflected again. Charlie Ward trying to come up with it, and it's still Heat ball as we go under the 2-minute mark. A number 7 seed has never beaten a number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But the Knicks on the verge right now. Timeout. Under 2 minutes remaining. Fourth quarter. A 14-point lead for the Knicks.
It's Houston's fourth quarter. And the Indiana Pacers, after knocking off the Cleveland Cavaliers, 3 out of 4, have to be sitting home very happy that these two teams banged away at each other for 5 games. And as far as they're concerned, trying to take a little starch out of what probably will be the New York Knicks.
The Knicks raced out to a 16-point halftime lead, went up by as many as 20 in the third. The Heat made a fantastic run. They cut it to 2 with about 7 minutes remaining, and they had all the momentum, but the Knicks answered right back. And the last thing the Knicks want right now is a foul to stop the clock and enable the Heat to score with the time not running. Allen Houston is 4th foul. And free throws coming up for Leonard.
Allen Houston wants to kick himself on that. He knows the importance of trying to hold on, stay very close to Deshaun Leonard, but you certainly don't want to stop the clock and put anybody on the free throw line at this juncture.
But the free throw shooting has been horrible for the Miami Heat. Now 10 of 20 for the game. And Deshaun Leonard, another tough game. Leonard hits 1 of 2. The lead is 13, 1:51 remaining. Heat will go for steals, no doubt. Foul and trying to make the Knicks hit some free throws. Knicks handling the press. And will try and take some time off the clock. Eight on the shot clock. Starks feeds Houston. 4 on the 24. Houston, the drive strip, gets it back, puts it up. Won't get the roll. Oakley trying to keep it alive, but Leonard comes out of the pack. Heat not giving up just yet. Murdoch the drive and a foul. John Starks hitting him. And Starks his 3rd. 2 more free throws coming up for the Heat with 1:19 remaining, and the Knicks leading by 13.
But the Miami Heat letting the New York Knicks take way too much time off the clock. Concerned about fouling all the good free throw shooters on the floor right now. I'm talking with Tim Hardaway yesterday. I asked him about his feelings and the rest of the club's feelings about any bitterness after the Ike Austin trade. He said, you bet. He said it would have been a major factor in this instance without Alonzo Mourning available. When Ike Austin over the last 2 years had to fill in and did very well in the absence of Alonzo Mourning. And if they had won this Game 5, to go on and play a big, tough front line of the Indiana Pacers. So that move will be debated throughout this summer.
And the Heat not fouling right away. Buck Williams underneath, and there's the foul. P.J. Brown with 1:09 remaining. An 11-point lead for the Knicks. 2 free throws coming up for Buck Williams. And as we said, it's never happened in the Eastern Conference, and only 3 times overall. Tim Hardaway and his Golden State Warriors did it once, where a 7th seed beat a 2 seed. The Heat, winners of 55 games during the regular season, won the Atlantic Division title, on the verge of a very disappointing end to their season. Buck Williams hitting the first. The Knicks able to overcome the loss of Larry Johnson and Chris Mills, suspended for today's game, but the Heat not able to overcome the loss of Alonzo Mourning. So important, especially on the defensive end. It really came to fruition how important he is defensively. Buck Williams hits a pair. What a game for Buck Williams. 11 points. Check that. 12 points and 14 rebounds for 38-year-old Buck Williams. Leonard, 3 won't go. Ward the rebound. And we're under a minute to play. The Knicks with a 13-point lead. And the Knicks just taking time off the clock. You know, Matt, you said at the top they need a big game from Allen Houston. He had 30. But they also needed a huge game from Charles Oakley, and he had 16 points and 11 rebounds. Starks three-pointer. Banks in. John Starks. Everything going right for Starks. 22 points this afternoon.
And they obviously got the big game from Starks, which people also felt was needed. But the unknown factor, and a big plus in this one, we saw it in game 2. It was Terry Cummings with his defense and his rebounding against Alonzo Mourning. And today, it was Buck Williams as the unsung hero.
Starks with the banker. It does go in, still counts as 3. As Strickland will shoot. Starks committing the foul down the other end. And Patrick Ewing still holding out hopes of playing this year. He has not been medically cleared to play yet. Knicks teams still say it's unlikely Ewing will play even in the second round, but certainly the further the Knicks go along, the more chance he has to make progress on the broken wrist. Strickland knocking or missing the second one, and Matt Guokas certainly with this game. The Knicks able to win a game 5 on the road. It has to be so sweet with a rivalry as Oakley slams it in.
Well, obviously the goal is to survive, move on, go to the next round, but you know the Knicks will take an extra special pleasure in ending the season for the Miami Heat.
In front of their home fans here at Miami Arena, final seconds ticking down. The Knicks battling back. They were down 2-1 in this best-of-5 series, winning at the Garden in game 4, and a huge road win. The road team wins the deciding game 5 as the Knicks finish off the Miami Heat, ending Miami's season in disappointing fashion. A number of big-time players for the Knicks. Allen Houston, as we mentioned, with 30. John Starks with 22. Tim Hardaway having some words as he walks off. The Knicks gathering at center court with the usual post-game prayer. And Tim Hardaway walking back now to the Heat locker room. The frustration showing there for Hardaway. Really struggled in the first half. Child's defense huge for that. Hardaway came alive in the third quarter. Brought the Heat back from a 20-point deficit to within 2. But the Knicks answered right back. And right now, let's send it over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Mike. John Starks, Allen Houston. Allen, let's start with you. 30 points, you said last year, Game 7, you were very nervous. Obviously, that wasn't the case today.
Well, you know, he was still a little nervous, but, you know, God's been with us the whole year, and he didn't leave us today. You know, we came out, we were poised, but we stayed aggressive, and I think that was the big difference.
How concerned were you when they cut the lead down to 2? You had a 20-point lead. It looked like this thing was going to get away from you.
Well, we had some good shots. We just weren't making our shots, and we knew eventually, you know, if we stayed poised, made good plays, we were going to make those shots.
Great game. Congratulations. John, let's ask you, how did you guys overcome the suspensions?
God. He carried us, like Allen said.
Got to be more than God. There were about 9 individuals out there.
He's been with us all day long, all year long.